Hello everybody, welcome to today's episode of Young Gifted and Black with your homeboy Level Sekani, aka Lifestlye. Today, I'm so excited, we're chilling with the former GQ best dressed man, who's also a lifestyle and brand consultant, right?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Hussain, aka Hussain van Roos.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you do, man?
I'm good, Jim. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Good to see you too, man.
Yeah.
I'm so excited because, you're one of the homeboys that, I really think you got your head in the right place in terms of brands and being an ambassador for brands.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason that, I wanted to chat to you today because, we're doing this for people who would like to follow the footsteps.
Yeah.
People who want to be brand ambassadors. People want to get involved in marketing, strategies, anything that involves that whole sphere, So I think first of all, let me just ask you to just give us a bit of your bio.
Okay.
Who you are.
It's always tricky.
Yeah.
It's always tricky, but geez, man, I actually studied IT.
Yeah.
IT engineering.
Yeah.
I worked for a financial institution for about 8 years.
Sure.
Actually, one of the big 4 banks in the country.
Yeah.
But whilst I was there, I had a mentor, and she always said to me, "I need to find what I'm really, really good at and run with it."
Yeah.
And she was in marketing at the time. I'll never forget the lady. Her name is Jenny Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Such an amazing human being. Guided me, but whilst I was still with the bank, I got them to actually pay for my studies. And I studied through Boston, and I studied marketing and advertising.
Yes.
Majoring in marketing, but this is postgrad obviously. And beyond all of that, geez man, whilst I was studying, I actually realized IT is not I'm good at it because I studied for it. I can apply my mind when it comes to tech and all of that stuff, but it wasn't giving me the joy that I actually wanted from something I wake up every morning to want to do. I quit the financial space. I consulted for another financial company. They were based out of Rivonia. I worked there for about a year, but at the time I was busy building a stronger hold on the 2 companies that I had running at the time, which was Fixing Diaries. Fixing Diaries, we used to custom make single speed bicycles.
Yeah.
We're still in operations now, but now we refurbish and we service the bikes.
Yeah.
Which is, that business makes me happy because it runs itself right now. I don't have to be involved. And whilst that was running, I saw a lot of brands that did a lot of things, kind of missed the sort of lifestyle touch to it.
Yes.
I actually created a role for myself as a brand and lifestyle consultant, which then obviously needed some guidance because I have to pay the tax man at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So started a company called I Am Hussain, and basically I Am Hussain is a company that it's an ecosystem of different brands that coexist in that space, and brands that people would have never thought would be seen working together. And we've done amazing stuff with international brands, local brands. We're still doing quite a bit of that as well, and there's some exciting projects coming up, but we'll get to that later on.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, that's me.
Yeah, that's you. Wow. I can't believe you actually crossed career paths like that. Let's talk about being a brand ambassador or positioning yourself towards it. Do you think that? And I'm not sure in your case, did you have someone to help you or to mentor you through the industry, or you just found your way and did research through?
So funny you say that to me. I think, and I've been lucky and I've been blessed actually. A lot of the brands that I work with or have worked with, they came to me.
Yes.
Right? And what I can tell you is that let the work speak for itself.
Yeah.
It's one thing when you go knock on a brand's door asking them to sponsor you for a certain thing, and it's another where you want a long-term relationship. Most of the relationships when I kick them off, there was no monetary exchange, you know. It was me wanting to produce or creatively direct certain types of jobs or work, and I literally just took it upon my hands and I was like, you know what, if this brand wants to jump on, I want them to help me as best as they can, and then I'll go find another brand, which is why you'll see most of the stuff that I created, it will have multiple brands coexisting at the same event. And all of these brands are not in conflict with each other. And I remember when I started off, or how I became the very first African ambassador for a British brand, Ben Sherman, was that I actually I was providing props at a shoot that they had from my bicycle company. It was a sock shoot that they were having, and I was lucky enough that when I got there, one of the models that was meant to be there to actually be in the shoot got sick. And I was there and I knew the photographer, a very close friend and dear friend of mine, and from there he said to me, "Dog, do you mind if I use you as my model for today?" I was like, "Man, you've got me. I was actually going to stay here because you're using my bikes for the shoot, so if anything breaks, I'm here to actually fix it." And I started being a model. I was in front of the camera. I didn't understand what I was doing, but we did it. And whilst we were taking breaks in between, the marketing director for Ben Sherman and a couple of other brands was there as well. We started chatting, and me and her just gelled. And she said to me, because I remember it was in the December of 2015, 14, something like that. And she said to me, "Listen, in Jan when we reopen after the break, I need to sit and have a chat with you." I was like, okay, cool. That was it for me. I forgot about it, carried on about my life, carried on living. And I remember February of the following year, I got called into the office, and the meeting request in the subject head said, Ben Sherman. I was like, I started doing my research around Ben Sherman because I was confused at what's going on. And from that day, when she said to me, "Okay, cool, so here's what's going to happen. We like you, we like who you are, we like your values, we want to make you the Ben Sherman ambassador in Africa." You are very first. And I took it for the longest time, I didn't know what to do with it. I absolutely didn't know. But they had me very nicely, they dressed me up for events. Whenever I needed a suit or whatever, I knew that they had my back, you know. I started falling in love because I'd always been a lover of suits, and now I started getting deeper into it. And for a long time I didn't know what to do because I knew that I had to create something for this brand, but I didn't know how. And I traveled to KZN, and that's when a spark hit. I just needed to create a legacy. And a legacy is better told if you're experiencing it or living it. And I was lucky enough that I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandfather was still alive, and he's a very dapper guy, at the time. And I knew that the only story that's going to make sense is the story that I tell that has him in it.
Oh yes. Because it's what you know.
Exactly. I mean, you can't tell somebody else's story if you don't understand your own. So I told my story, and that was my first creative direction job I've ever done in my entire life.
So this was when, like 2015?
Yeah, around 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. And things after that job, I mean that job that we did, that campaign we did for Ben Sherman actually won us an award in London. And I had to fly to London to basically speak to the global team around how did I come up with this idea when they created guys haven't gone to the level, you know? And it was just sharing a German story, a story that I knew so well because I saw that man almost every day, and I did what I did because I had him behind me saying, "Yo, I know you're better than this, you know? I know you can do better. You've changed your entire direction in life. Make sure," because he had one thing to me, he's like, when you want to belong to a space, never claim that you belong to it if you don't know the ins and outs or anything about it. So always teach you.
So he was basically saying, get to know the industry, do some research, network.
Like it doesn't stop. My first thing when I wake up, my computer's open or on my phone, and I'm I'm seeing what's happening in the marketing space, what's new ads out, who's directing what, who's creatively directing what, what's the trend looking like. Because as much as most of the stuff I self-taught myself, school or varsity basically taught me to open my mind and be a logical thinker and just have patience, you know? But when it comes to the actual craft, you actually have to learn as you do. That's the thing.
So to a certain extent, you did learn off other people.
100%.
But you just went out of your way
to get more, Look, this I'll never, and I'm never gonna ever take credit and say no, I did this on my own. That would be a lie. There's so much. Like I said, I learn every day from people I engage with, from my business partners that I'm with, my friends. The conversations we have are, yes, we'll laugh about the random stuff here and there, but in totality, like I like to spend my day when I get to my house and think about what did I learn today, or what's this new project that I'm thinking of next, because I had a conversation with you. Yes. So it's always, for me, always be open to just be a sponge, man.
Yeah, and I think in the marketing space, Hussain, I also studied marketing at UJ, and like you said, you only get the theory part of it,
100%.
But no one's gonna help you crack ideas.
100%.
I think it goes with time, it goes with you as a person, how much you want it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what brands look for as well.
100%. Funny that you say this, around theory and cracking ideas. Ideas are part of human nature, in my opinion, because we are built in such a way that we have a survival instinct inside of us, right? When you're forced into a certain corner, you find a creative way to get yourself out of it, right? You forced your mind to think.
Yes.
And once you have the theory, you'll understand, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You'll understand the 5 W's and an H. Those are just the concepts or the theories that are overarching themes on how you create campaigns, on how you create strategies, on how you write a strategy. But the actual idea, in order for you to apply the strategy, will need to come from you in totality.
Yes.
And I always say to people that creativity is in everyone. It's how in tune you are with it. And with what's happening now, the pandemic and everything, it has forced everybody to be so agile in everything that they do. You might have had 2 income streams, and then 1 income stream is gone. Now you're stuck with this one. It's going to affect your way of life.
Yes.
But you don't want your way of life to go down to 0. So what you do, you start finding creative ways. I've seen people do online cooking shows. I've seen people starting cooking businesses where they supply food to people. Because I love cooking. I love the kitchen. Right?
Yeah, I know you do.
I love the kitchen. And sometimes for me, because it's not something that I want to make money out of, I cook for my friends, I cook for my business partners, my family, just so that we can all break bread. Because for me, I think breaking bread as Africans is one of the key things, because it brings you guys together and ideas come in. Anyways, I digress. But being agile has forced a lot of people to think outside the box. That thinking outside the box is in line with what creativity is.
Yes.
It's in every one of us. Which is why I've always said, live your life with the curiosity of a 6-year-old. Ask questions. Because a 6-year-old will always ask questions and creatively give you solutions or answers. Like, why didn't you do that? Why are you doing this? So you have to, yes, study. I mean, if you don't have the funds to go to varsity, there's books, we've got the internet, there is a wealth of information on there. And then start creating small campaigns for yourself. Like, use brands that are around your house, the salts, cerebral salt that's sitting there in the cupboard, use it. Create something, find creative ways to show people what you do or how you live your day to day, Because it starts there. Just tell a story that you understand.
Yeah.
Then you can start looking for other brands to say, okay, I can tell your story. I can tell yours too, differently. Because that's what they want to see.
Yes.
How are you changing the narrative?
Oh yes. Yeah. And I think you're right, because if you look at the way ads are being produced now, it's not like before, where the product is literally taking over the whole
of the
screen of the ad,
storytelling.
Sometimes when you look at like your Red Bull ads,
Yeah.
sometimes those ads don't even have anything to do with the
100%.
drink, but it's for what the drink creates
Exactly.
for you or can do for you.
Yeah.
So I'm actually glad you spoke about that. And I wanna also, touch on like, technology as an influencer, because back in the days, let's say 10 years ago, obviously we relied a lot on print, on magazines, TV,
out of home, billboards.
Yeah,
100%,
above the line.
Yeah.
So now with technology, I think brands are also smarter because they're investing in a different way now.
Yeah.
How would you say, like, for someone who's and you've touched on quite a few points, but how can we now, use technology for the betterment now of ourselves and putting ourselves out there as brands, and not waiting for them to come to us?
Look, very interesting question, and it's so like I just think that this generation is at such an advantage, as much as the world is facing this major pandemic and people are feeling distraught, distressed, and all of these things, I feel that we are in such a great position to actually come out and be the starters of the digital revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, because everybody understands this. Literally, this pandemic, the silver lining here is that it has taught even older people to use digital as a means of communication. 10 years ago, my father would have not asked me to come and install his camera so that he can speak to his colleague. He would have never. He would have picked up the landline, called him and said, "Yo, this is what's going on, let's meet where. But it has literally forced, even churches have gone to an extent where they now digitally are having their masses, they're congregating digitally. Right now, everybody that is coming up, you need to speak Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all social media. Find even live streaming sites, this and that, because this for me is, and the thing is, the pie is so big for everyone, right? Is that Instagram right now has run an update on their algorithm. They've got reels. People, when you post a reel instead of a video, you are exposing yourself to the greater global community, which then forces them to go forward and say, "Hey, I like this guy's page." Use it to your most perfect, it's your problem solver. Run slight things. Instead of calling your friend via WhatsApp video, use Instagram Live, and you guys can talk about all the crazy stuff. Hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? Just to catch up. You've got Facebook that allows you to stream for 3 hours, and you can stream whatever you're doing.
Yeah, so Hussain, from what I understand, what you're saying, the usage of cell phones can actually spark a lot on our side, and not allow us to just sit and apply for jobs and pitch for campaigns and then not get them and sell. So the usage of cell phones, like you're saying, for Instagram and Facebook and YouTube is now the in thing now in terms of the fourth industrial revolution. From what I understand.
Look, that and the fact that there's so many platforms. Almost everyone owns a smartphone now. You can have access to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever the case may be. And everybody has something they want to talk about, right? And what I've realized is that a lot of the YouTubers, and please don't kill me, a lot of our female counterparts who are YouTubers, they all tend to turn in the same direction. They go to makeup or they go to styling, right? Yes, you have a knack for it. It's something that you're good at. just know that there are people that have been doing it for long. They obviously have, they're way ahead of you in terms of experience. But if you are going to decide you're going to do makeup, make sure that you are showing us something different.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be typical.
It shouldn't be your typical, oh, this is how you get your face done with this mask, whatnot. Maybe try, I don't know, maybe try and do makeup for like Halloween or special effects kind of makeup for movies and drama series, because I feel that like makeup is not only restricted to looking pretty, to going out or going to a certain event, but there's special effects that big movies are looking for.
Yeah.
There's makeup for almost everything, right? And maybe whilst you're doing the makeup, tell us what is in the product that you're using, so that I can know that this is good for my skin or this is not. I appreciate these tutorials around hair, because they tell you what type of hair you have because of how it feels or what it looks like. It's curly, it's greasy, and this and that. I'm not really clued up on the hair part, right? And then you look at your TikTok videos. Why not use TikTok? There's all of these dances that we inherit from the US that everybody wants to do.
Yeah.
Why not create a Mbakana video on TikTok? You know, or why not create something educational? Right now, kids are struggling, but they're sitting on TikTok. Why not create educational video series on TikTok where you, as a kid, you know that you're good at maths. Give me a 30-second problem solving whilst I'm solving for X with practical things around you. You know, there are so many creative ways that we can even fight this pandemic.
Yeah.
Show me in 30 seconds how to wash my hands.
Yes.
What do I need to use? With all of these funny effects that they use on TikTok, use that, teach me how to wash my hands. Make sure that that thing goes viral like crazy.
Yeah.
And what I've seen now, people being at home, is that they find joy when they see kids and older people who did not know anything about technology being on these TikTok videos, because they're like, what? Yeah. This old lady just did this dance on TikTok, amazing, you know? And stuff like that goes viral because, like I said, when you try and tell stories that you know, stories that another person can like resonate with.
Yeah.
You use your grandmother to teach solve for X on a TikTok video. That thing will go viral because how is this lady still has such brains to solve for X on a social media platform?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's little things like that I think that we need to be thinking. That for me is thinking outside the box. Yeah. Take a story that you know and love, which is a day-to-day story. Maybe you might have been going to buy an avocado from the corner street vendor, and you take a TikTok video, but you're standing where you are and you just pull the whatever the case may be, but creatively create these things, because we are at a very advantageous position right now that we can actually create, and because you've got a global audience, it's no longer you're creating for Johannesburg or you're creating for Soweto. You are actually creating for the world. So what you put up there can literally change the entire landscape and how people think with simple products just like salt and pepper.
And that's probably how brands are thinking now.
100%.
They're trying to capture everybody now.
Exactly. I mean, I work for international brands. I work with also international brands. And they speak the same voice from the global perspective right down to us here in Africa, because they realize, yes, in Africa things might switch a little bit from a consumer perspective. A millennial here thinks differently to a millennial in Europe, for instance. So how we can speak about the same product, but I need to have a different language when I speak to a guy in South Africa to me speaking to a guy in Europe.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, just thinking of the brands that I work with.
Maybe we can mention a few as well. You've mentioned.
Geez, I've done work with Mini Cooper South Africa. I've done work with Martel Cognac, which is from France. GH Champagne, Beefeater London Dry Gin. Louis Pion, which is a French watchmaker. G-Star, New Balance, which is some amazing work with them. Geez, man, it's quite, the list goes on. But for me, it's always been about an ecosystem once you've created a certain ecosystem for these brands to coexist in, they literally bounce off each other. One brand that everybody needs to look out for now, it's actually a South African app, it's called Pigel Love. It's similar, so basically it marries Instagram, Facebook and Twitter into one.
Yeah.
It's locally done. I think I was privileged enough to be part of the launch when we launched it in lockdown actually.
Yeah.
So it was in the beta beginning of the year. We launched it during lockdown, and now it's getting a lot more sign-ups. There's some amazing and exciting work that I'm looking at doing with them very soon.
Yeah.
It's literally going to be entertainment on the go.
Yeah, I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
So it's PEEGLE Live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Google Play Store, Apple Store, every service provider.
Yeah. And then thanks for that content there. Let's talk about traveling. I was saying.
Yeah.
No, you one person who's always like traveling. I mean, the one time I saw you at the back of a bike in Accra in Ghana.
In Ghana.
Yeah. So, which countries would you say, like, in terms of trends and like fashion trends are on probably par as us? I would use us as a comparison, not necessarily Europe.
Okay.
But it being a South African man, which country would you say, when you went and visited them, we are not that far as them in terms of our thinking?
It's a very interesting
Trend,
question.
brand-wise.
It's a very interesting question.
Or is it a matter of maybe each country has its own behavioral patterns? And
Look, I think every country thinks in its own certain way, and I never like to compare, because when I walk into a country I've never been to before, I always keep an open mind, because I want a culture shock.
Yeah.
I want a culture shock. I want to see how people behave. I want to see what their routine is.
Yeah.
Accra for me is like my second home, because relatively, as much as they are underdeveloped, and I put this in inverted commas because Accra in Africa has one of the most academics that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've heard Ghana has a lot of
Education is key there. It's a very big thing. But their level of dress, they infuse West African styles with global or European or American kind of style into one.
Yeah.
But everybody has a different and a certain sense of style individually, And I've always thought, and I still believe that style is an individual thing.
Yes.
No matter how much you've traveled the globe, you find things that are comfortable to you, and you just go with them.
Yes.
If you haven't gotten to that point, discover what it is that you like, and then take it from there. And then just to cross the ocean, just as you cross the ocean, and you go to France. Women in France will wear dresses with canvas sneakers.
Oh yes.
Right? But what I've realized is that they don't like washing the sneakers.
Oh, they like that dirty
They like
look.
the dirty look on the sneakers, but the lady will be so beautifully dressed and bang, sneakers are dirty. And I asked the question, why don't they? It's very interesting to me. And, you go to the US, LA to be specific.
Yeah.
It's a hot kind of city. They're always in like hot pants, vests, trying to be like nice and cool for the temperature. Yeah. But I think South Africa is nice because our climate allows for us to actually touch every other continent in the world via dress code.
Yeah.
I mean, the past couple of days have been freezing, and because of that, you pull out your coat. I pulled out my Peaky Blinder hat, and you could do that. And lockdown has also like forced us to sort of like move away from the formal wear a bit, and start wearing like athleisure, I mean, I've got a tracksuit top on, but I'm wearing jeans, It's just the sense of comfort, because there aren't any like serious meetings where I have to wear a shirt and a tie. People are a bit lax, but we're still grinding. And what's so fun and nice about that, from a human behavioral perspective, is that, and this is my own opinion, it's no one else's, is that lockdown has forced even the investment banker who wore a suit every single day to be comfortable and still be able to work at leisure. You know? So now you've literally forced your mind, or you've changed the habit. It means your brain is capable to even think further than a small little habit. So it's an interesting thing for me. It's human behavioral patterns, which is the one thing I do when I travel. I go and I people watch. I see how people behave. I see what they do, their mannerisms. He's going to pull the chair for this lady. He's going to open the door. Are we as South Africans that are we that humble that we do all of these things and no one else in the world does it, you know? But I mean, from my travels, it's opened up a lot of my brain in a lot of spheres, and you learn so much, man. And I always urge people to start locally, like explore your own background first. I think I've traveled to almost probably about 7 of our provinces. And I'm actually looking now, because our borders are fully open. I'm still trying to see, okay, which brand can I take along with me to Limpopo? Let's go explore Limpopo. You know, let's go see what happens there. You can bring your brand, and then we'll just see. We'll package it nicely. We'll shoot something for you. We'll give you to add to steel type of thing. Because for me, it's never about the money. It's about the actual work. I want to be known that I created something that was never seen.
Yes.
And
I think with the stuff that you've done, I mean, one of my favorites was the New Balance one. I think you killed it there. I think that ad was also like, so subtle but so effective, you know.
Because for me, like I said, the work speaks for itself. The money will always follow you, dog. And that's the one thing I've always made peace with. Like a lot of people want to force their brains to think creatively in order for them to get money. But if you think creatively at your own pace, you will then realize that the money will always follow you. It will come to you. It will definitely come to you. Because I read somewhere, I saw a meme online. What did it say? We always say that God will provide, right? But you are just chilling. How is God going to provide if you are actually not lifting even a slight piece of paper and a pen to write an idea down? Because what I've realized is that I have some creative slumps where I feel, damn, ain't nothing coming out of this head. What the hell's going on? You know? But that means, and I've mastered the art of knowing at that point that means I haven't been reading much. I have to take my brain out of the normality of Instagram, Twitter. Then you go lift a book and just read a couple of pages.
And the juices come.
Because ideas come from everywhere, though. Ideas come from everywhere, and we are so fortunate as a human species to actually be able to use our brains other than survival.
Good point.
We are probably one of the only species that can creatively think, creatively solve problems. We make decisions, choices for ourselves. Why don't we use that to make sure our livelihood increases 1,000%? It's beyond me. And we are one of the most fortunate, actually.
And we are, and more so as black people.
100%.
If I can throw that in.
100%. 100%. I mean, look, I have firstly an Afrikaans surname with an Arabic name, but I'm a black kid who grew up in Soweto. I want to see my neighborhood flourish. I don't refer to Soweto as a township anymore, it's a city, you know? And the reason why I call it a city is because Soweto has its own economy running in there, and it's thriving, you know? The only problem is that we are still because there's so many people that live in Soweto and predominantly black, right? Direct me to a house where a white man lives in Soweto. But when you drive around Soweto, you realize what people have done to their homes, how beautiful their homes are, how they take pride in the food they buy. People are having family lunches, people are having family dinners, things that back in the day were shunned upon, because there was we were too much in the survival mode, and now that we are not really out of the survival mode, but we are starting to get to a space where we can now explore other avenues of this life thing. You know, my biggest thing is we are so privileged as black people. as much as we still see the race issues, we still see this, we still see that. I always say your brain can actually take you out of that, and you could be the next person who actually stops this racism issue that we have. You could be the next person who stops this GBV issues that we're seeing, because you have thought about it creatively and you have realized that here's the problem. My solution to it is this. Because I've always said marketing is actually the backbone of every problem being solved. Because if you think about it, if we really wanted everyone in this country to wash their hands diligently and bring them slow down the curve, you have to use marketing means. You have to use above the line media, below the line media, you know, every avenue of media, so that you can speak to the masses, so that people can know there's a reminder. Let me go wash my hands. Let me sanitize. Let me do this. Marketing. Every store now has no mask, no entry. That's marketing. You're advertising. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's the little things on a day-to-day basis. I see it everywhere, and I'm like, this is part of life. And that's purely it.
Man, you got some powerful words, bro. So, for anybody out there, Hussain, who would like to consult with you, would you mind just sharing your details, handles?
100%. So my name is Hussain van Roos. It's Hussain VANROOS on all platforms. Again, that allows me to have a similar method of remembrance. So wherever you are, just remember Hussain van Roos. You search for me on any platform, you'll find me as that. Because that just says to me, I'm a singular person, and I'm not Hussain GP van Roos, Hussain Soweto. That's going to confuse everyone. Always have one solid voice, and you'll be able to win the hearts and minds of so many people. And that's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, all the platforms you can think of. Quibi as well, which is a very new one now. People Lab and Hussain van Roos. Like, it doesn't change. It's standard uniform everywhere else. No, my man, thank you very much for your time. Cool. I really appreciate it. And to everybody out there, please check out Hussain's pages. He's sick on the creativity. He's got some nice brands that he's working with. And if you need some consultation, you can holler at him. He's one available dude. He's always keen to work. My man, thank you very much. Thank you.
God bless you, my man.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, my man.